Hi everyone, so today I'm going to be showing you all how to convert the equation of a circle that's given in general form into center radius form. And the reason that we're going to be doing this is because if our equation is given in center radius form, we're able to get our center and our radius, and it makes it easier to graph, which is what they want us to do. And we know that from our center radius form, we get our center, which is always opposite h, opposite k, so it's just h comma k, and our radius, which is just r. So right here we have this equation, x squared plus y squared plus 8x plus 2y plus 13 is equal to 0, which is given in general form. And we want to convert this into center radius form by completing the square. So our first step in doing this is going to be to group together all my terms that have the same variable. So I'm going to have x squared plus 8x, and then all my terms that have the same y, which is y squared plus 2y plus 13 is equal to 0. And my next step is going to be to complete the square so that I can create a perfect square trinomial, and from there get the same binomial, which is going to be squared. So I'm going to do the x squared plus 8x and then give myself space to find that number once I complete the square, once I use the equation to complete the square, plus y squared plus 2y plus my number again. And then I'm going to subtract the 13 over because it's not part of this trinomial or this trinomial. So minus 13. And what I'm going to be plugging in here is going to be my b over 2 squared, which is my equation to complete the square. So my b, if we look at the standard form of a quadratic equation, it's ax squared plus bx plus c. So if I look at this trinomial here, which is a quadratic, this is my a, this a is my b, and I am trying to find my c right now. And remember that my b is just a coefficient in front of my x. It's not 8x, it's just the value 8. So in here I'm going to be plugging in b over 2 squared. So my b is 8 divided by 2 squared. And the most important thing to note is that when we're completing the square, whatever number we add here, we also have to add it to the right side so that our equation stays balanced. We're going to call this number a magical number. It's the number that allows that we get from completing the square. And it's really important that we remember to add this number here, because if we don't, then it's not going to work, and the equation we're going to end up at the end, is not going to be the equation of this here. It's going to be something completely different. So always remember to add the number on both sides. Same thing here. My b is 2, so it's 2 over 2 squared. I'm going to add it to this side as well. From here, what we want to do is note that this here, these two here, we have found. So what we want to note here is that we have now created two perfect square trinomials. So the next step that we want to do, the reason that this is important is because now we're going to get, from here we're going to get our binomials. So we want to get my x, and it's going to be a positive number because my b was positive, squared plus y, again it's going to be positive because my b was positive, squared. The number that's going to go here is the number that we multiplied twice to get 8. And then once 8 over 2 squared squared is 16. 2 over 2 squared is 1. So what number did I multiply by 2 to get 8, and I squared it to get 16? That number is going to be 4. And if I was to do a Punnett square, my factors that would come out of it, if I use this, would be x plus 4 and x plus 4, which I can show as x plus 4 squared. Same thing here. What number did I multiply by 2 to get 2? And I squared to get 1. That number is going to be 1. And then I do minus 13 plus 16 plus 1. X plus 4 squared plus y plus 1 squared is equal to 4. So from here, now I'm going to check, does this look like my center radius form? And I can see that I have an h, I have a k, and I also have my r squared. So from here, my next step is to be able to take out my center and my radius. So in this case, my center is, remember, we always do opposite h, opposite k. So let me write a little note here. So always do opposite h and opposite k. So if my, and also let me label, this is my h, this is my k, this is r squared, not r squared. Because if I look at my center radius form, this number here is r squared. My center is -4, comma -1, because opposite h, opposite k, and my radius is going to be, if r squared is equal to 4, take square root of both sides so I can get rid of my exponent, and I have r is equal to 2. So my radius is r is equal to 2. So now that I have these two things, which are the most important things I need to be able to make the graph of a circle, now we can graph. It gave us a really small space, but my center, I'm going to write again. It was -4, -1, and my radius was 2. So the first thing I'm going to do when I'm graphing this is to go find my center, which is at -4. So I go 4 to the left, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1 up. I mean 1 down, sorry, because it's -1, not +1. So here's my center. And I'm going to draw an arrow to make sure I know that's my center. So I'm going to label my center. And it was -4, comma -1. And from my center, now I'm able to draw my radius so that then I can connect. So here's my center. There's one radius that I accidentally drew. Then another radius that goes 2 units to the right, 2 units to the left, and 2 units down. And the only thing left to do here is to just connect my points. And now I have, let me draw this arrow a little higher. I have my center. I'm going to connect this point to this point, and I'm going to say that that is my radius. R is equal to 2. So by being able to convert this equation right here to center radius form, I was able to get my center, my radius, and that allowed me to draw my graph. So that's why it's important to always have your equations in center radius form to be able to pull out your center or your radius, which are the two most important things we need when graphing a circle. So let's do one more example from the packet. This one's found on page 21. So again, I have this equation right here, and I want it to be in center radius form so that I can graph it easily. And I'm gonna be completing the squares so that I can convert this to center radius form. So again, we're gonna group together all my terms that have the same variable, so x squared plus 12x. I'm gonna already leave room so that when I complete the square, I can add my term there, plus y squared minus 6y plus my term. And I'm going to be subtracting this 4 over already, so it's going to be here. Then I'm going to leave room for my magical numbers, the numbers that I'm going to get from completing the square. I'm going to do these lines already so that I remember that I have to add those numbers on both sides. And again, let's remember that the equation to complete the square is b over 2 squared. So for the first part, I have x squared, and I'm going to do it underneath here now. It's going to be 12 over 2 squared and negative 6 over 2, and all of this is squared. 12 over 2 is 6. 6 squared is 36. Let me do this just so you know where the 36 came from. And negative 6 over 2 is negative 3 squared, which is equal to positive 9. Or actually, let me show the work. So I'll do 3 squared. That's where this 9 comes from. Again, the numbers I add on this side, I'm going to add on this end. I'm going to add my 9. So now what I've created here is my perfect square. Trinomial. So now I'm going to come here and do my x. Since my b is positive, this one's going to be positive, a number squared. This always is positive from our center radius equation. Since my b here is negative, this number here is going to be negative because my b was negative here. Squared is equal to negative 4 plus 36 plus 9 is 49. And I'm going to come here. What number did I multiply twice to get 12 and I squared to get 36? That number is 6. What number did I multiply by 2 to get negative 6? And I squared it to get 9. That number was 3. So now I have my two binomials and my r squared. This is in the center radius form equation. So from here I can find my h, my k, and my r squared. So my center is, remember, always do opposite h, opposite k. So it's negative 6, positive 3. And my radius is just r. Square root of 49 is 7. So from here, let me write this down here. My r is 7. My center is negative 6, 3. And now my last step is going to be to graph it. So let's find our center at negative 6, positive 3. And then my radius is going to be 7 up. So if I'm at 3, go up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And it extends a little outside my graph, and that's okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 over here. The only thing I have left to do is connect the dots. So there's my graph of that equation. Let's label our radius, which is equal to 7, and my center. And there you go. That's how you convert the equation into center radius form by completing the square so that we can easily graph it. And again, the most important thing that we also need to do when we do this is to label our center. I forgot to do that, which is at -6, 3. I have my center, I have my radius, so my graph is complete now.